What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Friday, August 26th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 14-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. So, stud on the slate that's in a good spot. Take a look at Gerrit Cole. He's pitching against a low-salary batting team, the Oakland Athletics. Gerrit Cole giving up a .654 OPS versus lefties and a .624 OPS versus righties, facing 4 lefties and 5 righties. He's 11,000 FanDuel salary, 300 less on DraftKings. He's averaging 39 fantasy points per game on the season, and he has an ERA of 3.41. Record is 9-6, pitching an average of 98 pitches per game. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. 7 runs scored in this game. So I like Gerrit Cole here versus the Oakland Athletics. Now, if you want to save some salary here, this is more of a DraftKings play. He's a little bit more expensive on FanDuel than I would have liked. But take a look at Justin Steele. He's got a nice pitching advantage here over a low-salary batting team, the Milwaukee Brewers. Justin Steele, he's only giving up a .542 OPS versus lefties, a .744 OPS versus righties, facing 3 lefties and 5 righties. But I like this pick because the Brewers have only hit 15 of his last 79 pitches. That's a 190 batting average and a pretty decent sample size. Now, Justin Steele is 9,800 FanDuel salary, which I think is a little bit pricey, but he's 2,200 less on DraftKings, so I love that DraftKings price. He's averaging 28 fantasy points per game on the season, but he's been on fire, scoring 49, 37, and 43 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He has an ERA of 3.25. Record is 4-7, pitching an average of 85 pitches per game. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. 7.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Justin Steele here versus the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, just real quick, I also like Freddie Peralta. He's 8,800 FanDuel salary, 100 less on DraftKings. So I'd probably play Freddie Peralta at a discount on FanDuel, but I would play Justin Steele on DraftKings. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. I like William Contreras. He's got a 50% batting advantage over Jose Quintana. William Contreras batting 7% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .814 OPS versus lefties. Jose Quintana pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .856 OPS versus righties. William Contreras is 2 for 2 here versus Quintana with a 4 OPS because he has a double and a home run. He's 3,300 FanDuel salary, 1,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. He has a batting average of .264. So I like William Contreras here versus Jose Quintana. Now, I also like Trey Mancini. He's been coming through. He's on fire. He came through for us yesterday. Trey Mancini has a 16% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, Kyle Bradish. Trey Mancini batting a .735 OPS versus righties. Kyle Bradish, giving up a 1.019 OPS versus righties. So he pitches his worst ball versus righty batters, 26% worse than his other pitches. Now there's no at-bats versus Bradish yet, but Trey Mancini only 2,900 FanDuel salary, 1,000 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season, and he's been on fire, scoring 26, 22, and 13 fantasy points in the last 3 games. Scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5. He has a batting average of 263. So I like Trey Mancini here versus Kyle Bradish.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And then we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. So I like Jeff McNeil. He has a 22% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Chad Kuhl. Jeff McNeil batting a .776 OPS versus righty pitchers. That's 8% better than batting to versus lefties. And Chad Kuhl is pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 14% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .885 OPS versus lefties. Jeff McNeil is 1 for 2 here versus Kuhl, but I like this pick. He's only 2,600 FanDuel salary. Now he's 1,700 more on DraftKings, so I love that FanDuel price. Averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, and he has a batting average of .320. So I like Jeff McNeil here versus Chad Kuhl. Now I also like Kevin Newman. He has a 36% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Bailey Falter. Kevin Newman is batting 21% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .725 OPS versus lefties. Bailey Falter, he's pitching 15% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .809 OPS versus righties. And I like this pick. Kevin Newman is 2 for 4 here versus Falter, a 1.5 OPS because both of those hits were doubles, and he's only 2,600 FanDuel salary and only 700 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .267, so I like Kevin Newman here versus Bailey Falter. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. So a stud that I like here is Austin Riley. Actually, I think he could be a home run hitter here. So Austin Riley has a 52% batting advantage over Jose Quintana. Austin Riley batting 9% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .962 OPS versus lefties. Jose Quintana, he is pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 43% worse than his pitch to lefties, giving up a .856 OPS versus righties. Now, Austin Riley is 0 for 3 here versus Quintana. Not a huge sample size, but just keep that in mind. And he's 3,800 FanDuel salary, 1,600 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. And he has a batting average of .284. So I like Austin Riley here versus Jose Quintana.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, Just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like Vaughn Grissom, and he's got a 36% batting advantage over Jose Quintana. Vaughn Grissom is batting a .968 OPS versus lefties. Jose Quintana, we know, pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .856 OPS versus righties. Now, there's no at-bats versus Quintana yet. Vaughn Grissom, $3,400 FanDuel salary, and he's $700 less on DraftKings, so I like that DraftKings price. Averaging 14 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, and he currently has a batting average of .382, so I like Vaughn Grissom here versus Jose Quintana. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. Home run hitter, Mike Trout. He's got a 16% batting advantage over Mitch White. Mike Trout batting 21% better versus righty pitchers, batting a 1.085 OPS versus righties. Mitch White giving up a .652 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus White yet. Mike Trout is $4,000 FanDuel salary, $1,500 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. He has a batting average of .272, so I like Mike Trout here versus Mitch White. Now, I also like Kyle Schwarber. He's got a 38% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, Bryce Wilson. Kyle Schwarber batting 21% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .932 OPS versus righties. Bryce Wilson pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 17% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .957 OPS versus lefties. Now, Kyle Schwarber is 1 for 3 here versus Wilson. That one hit was a home run. He's $3,300 FanDuel salary. Now, he has $2,500 more on DraftKings, so I love that FanDuel price, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. Now, he only has a batting average of .213, but I love the splits here. I think his FanDuel price is pretty low. He's got a lot of upside. He can definitely go for 20 plus fantasy points pretty easily if he gets, if he gets going. So I like Kyle Schwarber here versus Bryce Wilson. Okay, just one more value play I wanted to bring up here. Take a look at Tyler Naquin. He's got a 49% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, Chad Kuhl. Tyler Naquin batting 35% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .839 OPS versus righties. Chad Kuhl is pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .885 OPS versus lefties. And I like this pick because Tyler Naquin is 2 for 6 here versus Kuhl, and both of those hits were home runs. Only $2,100 FanDuel salary. Now he's $1,800 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. Scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. Has a batting average of .247. So I like Tyler Naquin here versus Chad Kuhl.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.